Hello everyone, George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape, and today we are going to work on a retaining wall. Customer hired us in to tear out this old wall that served its purpose back in the day, I'm sure. Those posts are probably down in there quite a ways, but you know, back in the old days they did whatever they had to do to make a retaining wall, and this is what they chose. So it's done its time, it's run its course. So now we're going to rip this out and we're going to straighten this out. So right now he's got steps that go all the way, kind of come around like this, and then they kind of zigzag up the hill. And what he would like for us to do is kind of get them to go more straighter. They don't have to be perfect, but they'll still have a little bend, but just not a big one like this. So what we're going to do after we tear this out is we're going to put in a boulder retaining wall. So by boulder I mean rock retaining wall, and so that stuff lasts pretty much forever. When you put it down, obviously it's going to outlive all of us. So that's the plan. Then what we're going to do is this area is going to be a small paver little landing here, just kind of like a 4x6 area, so not a big deal there. We'll put that in, retaining wall in, and then all these steps have to come out. So these are all rotting away also. You can see there's just like nothing left to them. So those will come out and up the hill we go. So that being said, time to get busy. This should be interesting. It's kind of steep going down the hill. I'll watch my man here manhandle this thing before he flips it. That far. Now we'll see how he does getting back out of here. Seems to be preoccupied with something.
They're not biting today.
They're not biting today?
No.
Well, what do we have here? That's my boy. Forever and a day finds his way to a fishing pole. Kumquat.
Kumquat.
Yes! You did it! I did it! Look at you! Yay. Look how proud you are! Oh. Okay, we need to move that great big old bell up there. And we need 3 of us, 1 on each leg. Get it out of the way so I get down there with the skid steer. You jiggy?
1 on each leg.
Yeah, that's right.
Right down my alley.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
All right, so the first thing they have to do is get their measurements to make this thing 4x8. And then the sub base has to get compacted, which is what they're doing right now.
72. Pretty close. Come out that way a little bit. You want to come by the door evenly. Yeah, so we'll get that out a little bit. This guy's come out a couple inches.
I've had that tape measure for 20 years. Nothing wrong with that. You gotta dig this out deep enough so that you can get like your 6 inches of base in here, and then you can go with your pavers on top of that. But you can't go any higher than what this is. What they have here, they have just a bunch of old brick that's sitting here, and we got to kind of, it would have been nice if we could have matched right up tight against it, but we're not going to be able to. We'll be close, but. So, get this out, and then we have a couple of other things. We have the hand tampers that we use because you can't get a regular compactor in this hole. So once you get your sub base packed down, I have the baby beast and the mama beast. Get some of that out of here, and then I'll give you the baby one because
okay. Just makes sense, right?
It just makes sense, exactly. we got to get some of this base in here. So all right, so when you are putting this in, make sure that you only put in a few inches and then recompact it, because we can't use a compactor on it, so you don't want to sit here and try to put 6 inches or 8 inches in and then try to hand pack that. So just put in a couple inches, pack her down, a couple inches, pack her down, so on and so forth. Even using Daddy's tool now. He's trying to be a man. Look at him. Wow. Who makes that handy dandy little
Razorback?
Oh. Where do you suppose you could get a nifty little thing like that?
Amazon.com.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? Even the baby?
Even the baby, I'm sure.
Okay. So now we have this somewhat put in place, and now we got to do our final grade on this. So I'll show you how to do that. So we know that if we swing these doors open now, they'll clear this block easily, okay? And we don't want to get too much higher than what they have right here. So if we're in this vicinity, we're going to be close to where we should be. So that being said, I mean, it looks like it's higher here, but that's just because this block is down farther. So we're not going to go off of that. We're going to go off what we want it to be. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys a little trick knot here that my father showed me years ago. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you take the two like this, okay? Hold them together with one hand. Flip this over your thumb, okay? Use your finger, push it back through, and then pull tight, and now that'll slide right where you want it to be. So now I'm going to put this knot down here to the level of this brick, if that's where I want it to be, okay? And then we're going to go from here out to this stake, which we've driven on the ground, obviously. And there's a line level somewhere. Who's got the line level?
I found it. As soon as you said help.
You are beautiful. All right, so if we know we want the top of our base to be there, and we're trying to make this somewhat level, you'll take one of these little line levels and you snap it into this string. Now we will determine where level is on this. We're going to have to bring this up just a little bit in order to try and find level. There's a groove in that. So according to that, this has to go way down. And this would have to come up.
Stick it down.
And we don't want that to come up. So that's going to have to be tunneled out on that end. Dig a little out of there because we're already high on that. You know what I mean? So see how far that is? You'd have to go way down here, and it still is hitting. So it's almost level right there. Gotta get this stuff out of the way so it doesn't hit anything. And you can see where you're at. Yeah, that's about level right there. And that's ½ inch high. So about a ½ inch has got to come out of here across this. Just let me grab a rake and just snap that out of there quick. And then we can do the same on the other side. Get an idea where that is. The other thing you can do is take a 4-foot level if you don't want to do all of this. Just take a 4-foot level, put it in here, and then you can just kind of see by raising and lowering it, which I should go get out of the truck anyway. So I'll probably go a little quicker than this. But I'll show you there's just two ways of doing everything. There's always my way and then these boneheads way, which generally doesn't make much sense. All right, you got enough out of there? I'm gonna go get that 4-foot level out of the truck. Well, that was a brisk walk all the way up the hill to get to the truck to find out that we didn't bring the 4-foot level. But rest assured, if we had brought the 4-foot level, we would have purchased it at Amazon.com. All right, so now we're back to the bubble way. The thing you want to make sure you do is you have a pitch. So right now I'd have to literally raise this a little bit to get level. So it's actually working in our favor, because you want everything pitched away from the building, even if it's just a little bit. So if we have just a 1/4 of an inch pitch, as long as everything's going away that way, the water and everything will run off. So. Okay, so now we have that done. We have this, if you guys can see this. So what I did is we ran the line, we just crossed it back and forth, so you have a reference point. So I've got the line that runs all the way across the back, so I know how to get that level. Same thing runs out to that point, so I know how to get it. Same thing over here, same thing across the end. And then I zigzag them like this, so that you can tell you don't want a hump in the middle and you don't want a low spot in the middle, but if you zigzag them, you'll be able to tell better where you're at. So, that being said, level things out the best you can. And then, the final hand tamping should put me pretty darn close to where I want to be. So right now, your whole goal when you put this stuff down, you don't want this line to touch anything. After you tamp it down, it should be just a hair right above your base all the way around. That's the way you want it to be. So, see how it turns out. Fish jumping. Hear that? All right. I can see this is a little low or a little high. If you look, you can see, even though I compacted this, that line is still sitting right on top. Okay. See that? A little bit low over there. So all I gotta do is rake this out, move it into that area, and we should be good. Loosen it up a little bit. That looks pretty damn good. Time to start throwing brick. Yeah? Yeah. At this point, take the string right out, and then we're going to start throwing some brick. I walked away 20 minutes. Came back and said, boys, why is all this stuff tore out? How much footage did you take? Was it good? No, none, zero, zip, nada. You know why? Because Daddy wasn't here. That's right. But now Daddy's here. Ain't that right, Kumquat? Yes, it is. That's right.
Right on, 2 dogs.
Good dog. Oh my gosh. All right. I'll be right back. That's off the boat. Yeah, our boat trailer. Yeah. Okay, so the big news, I ripped my brand new rain jacket. Hooked it on brush. So now, what we have to do is we should bury all that brick. You know, like any good landscaper, or an electrician, or a carpenter, you always bury your shit so that someone else has to deal with it later. So, and you also don't have to haul it away. So we should probably do that first. We'll get all that brick, because we're never going to use it again for anything, and then throw it in here. So, making the retaining walls, the boulder retaining walls. First thing we're going to do after we bury all our junk for someone else to find 20 years from now is we're going to flatten this out and make a decent base. Then we're going to start putting in our rocks. And what you want to get is like a 30% pitch, 30 to 45% angle on this when you put it up. So like you're not going to be stacking rock on top of rock and have them straight up and down like this, because what will happen is as the water and everything else and just the weight of all this soil keeps coming this way, it'll knock your wall right over. So you want that pitch. You want everything to lean into the wall like this, okay? So again, like anything, starts out with a good base. So what we're going to do, like I said, bury our brick, use the rest of our base that we have here. We're going to put it in here, pack it all down good, and start laying the bigger rock. And then as you're building these walls, it's always the bigger rock on the bottom and get smaller as you go towards the top. Use your smaller rocks as you get towards the top. So you want all that weight down here and more stability on the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, we got a couple layers going here, and each time as you fill that, we bring a little of this top dirt or this topsoil down into here and just keep filling in behind it. Get this nice and level, pack down behind it, and then you can set your next rocks on it and just keep going up and up and up. And remember, if you can look from this side, this angle, you'll see how we're pitching them all towards the wall. See how these are out a little bit farther? Okay. And then these go back in. Next row is going to be back in here, and so on and so forth. Keeps going up against your hill. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now. Okay, so as you can see, or maybe you can see, it's pouring rain out here, and we've got done what we came to do today, which is the retaining wall. So that being said, this is done. Looks like hell because it's all mud right now, but it's going to be way better tomorrow, hopefully. So now it's just a matter of, again, you can see now and partition how everything has just come together here in the end and how everything just slopes back and leans up against that wall. So that's going to hold long after I'm gone, you know. So therefore, now tomorrow we'll come in and we'll put the steps in all the way up, and yeah, then we'll be done with this job and go back home and wash everything up, clean it up, so on and so forth. So see you tomorrow.